guys, I'm picking this video up right where we left off. Last time things were taking a little bit too long for me. I knew kind of how long I needed to be working to make a certain length of video, so this is me picking it back up where you guys last saw. And I think it's time to get to the back. Standing by the right rear corner, and you guys can see what this thing's been doing. She's dripping. Been taking the paint off my wheel too, so I'm not that worried about that. I'm more worried about the safety aspect of losing brake fluid, and possibly terrible working rear brake. So I'm hoping these drums come off okay. It looks like I'm probably gonna have to take the bearings off. They should slide off. We'll figure that out as we go, but I definitely got to get this taken care of. The threads in the new cylinder aren't in there the same way as the old one, so when I tighten this thing up, it doesn't line up. It's completely upside down. And what I'm just thinking of right now is I'm going to try the other one and see what that one does. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe that'll make us really unlucky when we do the other side. Let's find out. That part taken care of, I'm gonna go ahead and probably wipe some of this grease off, get some new grease on there so we're not putting a bunch of dirt into the bearings, lube up my slide points, and try and figure out how this brake assembly goes back together. There's some stuff on here I've never seen before, so that's why I left the other side together, so I got something to compare it against, and hopefully I can figure it out because I just took it apart 20 minutes ago, so you guys can watch it happen real fast. Like the final boss of rear drum brakes. I never saw the self-adjusting mechanism like this before. It's got this little wedge that gets pulled down by a spring, and that was so confusing, but I ended up walking back and forth like 10 times. finally figured it out. See, I got fluid bleeding through it right now, so I'll close up that bleeder and do the same thing on the other side. And then we can clean up that brake drum and put it all back together. Well, I got those brakes all back together. It was a fun time. Got them together, cleaned up, no more wheel cylinder leak. Should be bled by gravity. Yeah, I think it's time to put wheels on, but before that, I wanted to throw them on the balancer and see if I got one off, because that one of the front wheels felt like it was shaking pretty good. So I'm gonna throw them on the balancer, balance them, put them back on the car. I'm gonna drain the oil so I can change it and finish from the top, and then we'll get it on the alignment machine. I don't know if you guys could see that on the video, but this thing's pretty wobbly. This is the left front tire. It says it's only a ½ ounce out, and yes, you will feel a ½ ounce on the road. But as wobbly as that thing is, I don't think I'm gonna fix it with weight. So I don't even think it's worth my trouble. I'm gonna end up swapping wheels and tires around on this thing anyway. So I'm gonna call it good enough for who it's for. says it takes 4.8 quarts. I'm gonna start with my 4. And then I'll fill up the 0.8 into this jug. There's a big baffle in there. You gotta hold the funnel so it doesn't tip over. Let's go for the 0.8 right here. Found out my oil pressure light works, which is good. Coolant light still blinks, that's never changed. Got the oil changed on it. I think I want to throw the air filter in it because I have it here. I just checked underneath the rear for leaks. The lines are all clean, the back sides of the backing plates are clean, so I think we're in the clear for rear brake fluid leaks. Now, next thing is move it over to the alignment rack and try and tweak on those tie rods and get the thing driving a little straighter. It was kind of weird, and I think the alignment was off before because one of the tires got pretty worn out. So hopefully we can save the next set of tires. Not bad, but not new either. Just as I suspected. Ready for the bad news? I already tell you I did pretty bad with my eyeball alignment. Hey! Pretty whacked out in the front. I also shoved my camber negative when I put the struts back in, just so I didn't have positive camber. And -1 degree, yeah, I'm probably gonna leave it alone. But I definitely want to get that toe set. And as far as the rear toe goes, that's a solid torsion axle. There's no adjusting that thing. So I saw the bushings were kind of trashed when I was under there earlier. That's a whole another day's work, so it's gonna get left alone, just like the tires. just gonna try and get this in the neighborhood, and then I'll do a rollback again and start over and get a final adjustment. Well, I ended up with the straight steering wheel, pretty even. I like a little bit of toe in. My camber came back. I think that was getting thrown out because the tires were so distorted from the old toe setting. But I think we're doing okay, because spoiler alert, this thing's gonna get dropped a little bit probably pretty soon once I get through the maintenance stuff. So it's gonna get a whole nother alignment. I think it's coming down, and we'll go for a drive. Okay, you guys saw me turn back around and come back here, so let me tell you why. I had a soft brake pedal, and I thought well, once the vacuum booster kicked in, it was like fading away every time I stepped on it. So I panicked. I said, oh no, I got a brake fluid leak. I turned around and came right back here. I wanted to check it out and make sure. I cleaned everything, blew it dry, stomped on the pedal a bunch of times, and I've got no fluid leaking. So I guess that's good, but I think what I'm having a problem with is the rear brake adjustment. This thing has these goofy, and you saw when I pulled that drum off, there was that thing that went around went sideways in between the top of the shoes with springs and like a wedge. And I see one of these wedges sitting on the ground here, so I'll use this as an illustration. But this little wedge gets pulled down by a spring. When you step on the pedal, it's supposed to self-adjust and pull itself down, and the farther down the wedge goes, the farther apart the shoes get. So I just did it on this other side. What I had to do was I pulled the lug nut out, and I can see the little wedge. I don't know if you guys can see the little hole right there? The spring? I'm sticking a little pick, like a straight pick in there, and using the wheel to help me push it down and therefore take up the slack in the shoes. And I think once I do that and get it, because I can feel like slight drag on this thing, once I get that close, I think I can stomp on the brake and it'll do its thing like it's supposed to, naturally self-adjust. I just wanted to come back here and make 100% sure I didn't have a big old wheel cylinder leak on my new part or something like that. I think we're good, but my impressions driving this thing drives way better. The wheel doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off. Steering wheel's nice and straight. I'm anxious to drive home in it. Anxious in a good way, I guess, and keep driving it to work every day. So if I can figure out this rear brake thing, I'm not so afraid to drive it home anymore, just as long as I know it didn't have a big fluid leak. So I'm gonna try and adjust this other side, put the lug nuts back in, and I'm probably gonna end up going home. And I'll report back at the end and we'll wrap this whole thing up. Well, made it back to the outside HQ. No real issues. It was much quieter in here than it was the first time I showed you guys how it drove. There was a weird like screeching sound that sounded like almost like a vacuum leak in the dash. And I don't know what that is, but I got home and I was going to start looking for it and I couldn't find anything. So I'm going to see if that continues and address that if I need to. But I'm really tired and I'm running out of video space on the memory card, so I think I'm going to sign it off. Till next time.